Hello everyone and welcome back to my sunroom on this beautiful spring day. I love this weather and I love this time of the year. For today's update, I thought that we would do some cuttings on one of my Thanksgiving cacti. It's really easy to do as long as you have some guidelines, and I've had a 100% success rate with this technique. So I'm excited to show you how I do this. I thought we would start the video by just enjoying the blooms on my huge Thanksgiving cactus that lives here inside the glass doorway of my sunroom. As you see, it continues to bloom. There's still plenty of buds on it, and it's what I call an overachiever. I did take some cuttings from it the other day. I kind of had to be able to turn the blooms out towards the room. And it was like cutting plastic. The leaves are so thick and healthy on this plant. So as soon as those cuttings take root, we're going to pot them up together, probably in a couple of weeks. But for today, I'm going to do some cuttings on my other Thanksgiving cactus. I'm trying to keep it more compact, less gigantic than this one, and there's some leggy parts on it. It still has some blooms on it, but I don't see any new buds on the plant. It's much easier to take cuttings on a plant that's not budding because you might cut one of those buds off. So it's a good time to take cuttings on this other plant. Now, as you see, this part of the plant, it's not budding, it's not blooming, so it's the perfect time to take cuttings from this section of the plant so it doesn't grow so long and legging. Actually, cuttings is an interesting way to refer to this process because I don't use scissors, so I'm not actually cutting anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gently twist the joint between the leaves until it comes off. I tried this once with scissors and I did more damage than good. And this is much easier and better for the plant. Because if you cut with scissors, sometimes you're going to cut into a leaf unevenly and you'll damage the leaf and it won't even root for you. So this is a much easier way to do this. If your cactus is still in bloom while you're doing this, just be careful not to take a segment with a flower bud. My large cactus that I started the video with is still budding and blooming, and I took a cutting with a bud on it by accident. So I'm working on this cactus today to show you how I'm going to twist the segments apart. And I don't see any new buds on this section. It still has some blooms on the other side of the plant, but no buds. So this one's ready. So I want to concentrate on twisting the segments off from the bottom of the plant so that it stays more compact and it doesn't get leggy. What I do is I find 3 or 4 segments that don't have any new growth on them, because if I do, I'll be cutting off a part of the plant that will definitely bloom for me the next bloom cycle. So let's work on these sections right here. There's 3 sections right here that are kind of getting leggy, I think. And I'm just going to twist gently. And there we go. That's what that segment looks like. Right here, I'm going to take off 4. Just twisting it gently. Many of you have asked me, do I set these directly in water or do I place them in water? You know, when do I do that? I actually just go ahead and put them in water immediately. I don't let that harden into a callus or anything. I've never had any problem getting them to root this way. You see, I'm just twisting. Some of them take a little bit more. There we go. Easy. There's your little section. And I do put them directly in water. I cover about the bottom segment, about half of it stays in water. And you'll notice that when the roots start growing on these things, they get really, really thirsty, and your water level is going to go down quickly. So I refill that water level a lot until I pot them up. And then I'm going to place the cuttings in a sunny windowsill in my sunroom. And this time of the year, it's going to take about 2 weeks for them to root. A little bit less sometimes if you have some really sunny, warm days. So I'll be getting my potting mix ready. I like to have fresh potting mix on hand for this project. You can use Miracle-Gro, Hyponex, or Schultz potting mix, or any type of regular potting mix for the cuttings. You don't need anything fancy, just bagged potting mix for indoor plants. I do like to buy Miracle-Gro potting mix with a fertilizer already in it when I can find it, but you don't have to use that. I used to pot these up in very small orchid bark, but that wasn't very cost effective, and they grow just as well in regular potting soil for indoor plants. I've had a lot of questions about what the roots look like when they're ready to be planted. These cuttings I took about a month ago. They didn't root very quickly because it was still cold last month. But this is what they look like. You're going to notice that once they start rooting, they're going to root very, very quickly. But once the roots get to be about 2 inches long or about 5 centimeters, they're going to be ready to be potted up into a new plant. So for next time, I'll be buying some fresh Miracle-Gro regular potting mix with the pelletized fertilizer in it, and we will be potting some new plants. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate your kind comments, all of your questions. You're such a blessing to me, and I would love to say the blessing over you, your family, and your plants. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you his shalom peace. You all make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.